It's your open source advocate, and I'm back with another video, and it's time for me to do my annual what am I using from open source in this day and age. I do this video approximately every year. I try to keep it on about a yearly cadence. It's been a little bit more than a year this time, but this is one of my favorite videos to make because I get to tell you guys about all the things that I've found over the last year, all the things that I'm continuing to use over the years. A lot of times people just happen to find this video and they find it really useful because there's a lot of things that they didn't realize existed out there. So I hope you'll get that out of this video. We're going to get into it without much further ado, but first I do want to say thank you so very much to all of my patrons over at Patreon. Your continued support just means so much to me. I wish I could put it into words. It's just so incredible that you want to support this content every month. So thank you so very much. To everybody who does a one-off with buy me a beer, buy me a coffee over at PayPal, thank you. Those little notifications just make my day when they come through. It just means the world to me. I really do appreciate it. So thank you for that as well. To everybody who subscribes over at YouTube, thank you so much for that. It really helps the channel grow. It means the world when you do that subscribe and just tick that little bell notification. And if you haven't done so, go down there and click on subscribe, click on the little bell icon so you get notifications about new, incredible open source software. And make sure to click on the thumbs up so people know that you like this video and it gets shown to more people and more people can learn about awesome open source software. Thank you so much. Now, let's get started. I love to talk about the open source software that I use, and I try to teach you guys how to use that software, how to get it implemented. So everything that I'm going to be showing here, with maybe a couple of exceptions for videos that are coming up, I should have videos from the past, and I will try to put those links in the show notes in the description for this video so that you can go see those videos and get the details on how to get them set up on your systems as well. First and foremost, the first and most important open source thing that I use is my operating system on my machine. It is Linux. I know this is a Windows world, and it's because Windows ships on pretty much every PC as it comes out of the store, and most people don't understand that they have other options, that they can run other operating systems on that hardware. If you've not checked out Linux in the last 5 to 10 years because you thought that all Linux was this, then you definitely need to go and check it out, because Linux is an incredible, massive powerhouse when it comes to the desktop. It is not just a server operating system. Linux rules the world when it comes to servers and the web. Linux runs the web. I mean, 85% of it is running Linux servers. The desktop is a different story. It's about 3%. The reason is because, again, Windows comes installed on all the systems by default out of manufacturers. And if you think about most of your friends and your family, they're probably not super technical and they don't understand that they have a choice. They don't have to use an operating system that forces them to create an online account just to log into the computer that they own, that forces them to give over their data just to use a computer that they own. Linux is kind of the opposite of that. It's like, hey, you can do that if you want to, but here, you can do everything locally. You don't even need an internet connection if you want to use it. It's just such a cool operating system. And there's so many great features. If you're used to hitting the Windows key and getting a menu, and then you can type in what you want. Look at that. Hey, it does the same thing in Linux. Maybe I have my menu up here at the top, but that's just something I did to create a little bit of difference in my desktop. You can 1000% make this look almost exactly like a Windows machine. You can even change out the icons to be the icons that you see in Windows if you really want to. I have my dock down here with all my open applications. I have another launcher that I like to use, so it lets me do so many really cool things, and I just love how much flexibility I get. I know there's some things you can do with Windows, but every time you add something onto Windows, it just adds more bloat onto something that's already kind of bloated, in my opinion. That said, Linux is 1000% my daily driver. If I don't have to have Windows on my network, I don't. I have a virtual machine that I use for some testing here and there, but it rarely gets turned on. In fact, when I turn it on, I usually have to do updates that take so long I have to come back the next day to actually work on whatever I was going to do. But yeah, I love Linux. I think it's an incredible operating system. If you haven't gotten out there and tried it in a recent while, it'd be worth your time, I do believe. All right, moving on from Linux. The next thing I use is Homepage. So I used to use Dashy, and I love Dashy. Dashy was awesome, but at some point it just kind of quit working for me, and I didn't feel like doing the troubleshooting, and I hadn't tried another dashboard in a while, so I thought, you know what, let me give some things a try. And I tried several, and I landed on homepage. I really like it. It's very simple. It's very straightforward. It lets me see the things that I want. I can put them in these groupings, and then you can just minimize these groupings just like you could with Dashy. It's really great, so you can then just re-expand things as you want to see them. So it makes it really easy to kind of find the things that you're looking for. And if you're on this page and you just start typing, it'll start trying to find things for you. So as you can see, I just start typing and it kind of pops up almost that same launcher as my desktop, but in this case, it's finding the things that I'm looking for on this particular screen. I really like that. It's a super great way to organize everything that you're self-hosting, especially because at some point, yeah, you could use your shortcuts up here in the browser and create a folder and put all your stuff, but I love the icons. I love the visual aspect of what I'm trying to do, and I kind of know where things are, so it becomes muscle memory to go click and open those things up. But homepage is really awesome. I love it. It gives me some stats about the system it's running on. In this case, it's an Incus container, so it's not really, these aren't the stats for the main machine, but I do get the stats for that container, and I can see how much resources it's actually using out of that virtualized system. All right, we're going to jump into the meat of the stuff that I use on a regular basis and why I'm using it and how I'm using it. So this next one is Proxmox. Now, Proxmox, if you haven't heard of it, is a virtualization orchestration system. It basically lets you run virtual machines and containerized machines and everything else, and it lets you orchestrate all of that. Now, I'm only running one server here, and this is for a client. This is on their systems, but you can see here I've got a couple of containers. I've got a bunch of virtual machines that they're running, and most of these are Windows machines because they're a business and they need software that unfortunately only runs on Windows. I've been working to try to get it to run on Wine because I would love to switch them. I've shown them Linux. I've actually got them running on their main desktops on Linux, and they just use these virtual machines for Windows, and they love Linux. It's been incredible. That said, they do have applications that unfortunately are only built for Windows right now, so I'm hoping that'll change in the future and we can switch them over. But right now, this is the way that they run it. And I like this because it's very easy for me to access over a VPN. I can go in and make changes. I can help them do things when things get stuck, when things get broken. It's really easy for me to go in and jump in and do things here from the level above where the VMs are running, but also I can jump into the VMs right from Proxmox if I want to and do things. It's really an incredible tool. And as you can see, I'm on the main machine line here, and I've got the summary up so I can see how the machine is running. I can see the stats for their server, everything like that. I can go through and do updates, everything like that remote. I rarely have to go to their site to do anything. Occasionally I got to go down for something, but it's just the most rare of occasions that I have to do that. It's just really a tremendous tool. So Proxmox gives you all kinds of capabilities. So here I've got their WireGuard VPN that I've got running here, and it's an ingress point to their network, so everything is secure. They have no open ports on their firewalls at all. I use this method of getting into their system over a VPN, which is very secure, and that's the way that I prefer to do things. Really an incredible tool. If you've never looked at Proxmox, I've got videos on it. Tons of creators who do open source and self-hosting have videos on Proxmox. You should definitely get out there and check it out. And I know VMware at one point changed their licensing. I don't know if they're going back to the other licensing that they had, but a lot of people switched away from VMware and went to Proxmox. And it's not an easy switch when you have everything invested in something, but I think a lot of companies did it and made that switch, and I think they're very happy with it because the pricing on Proxmox is really good as well. If you want their professional level services and support and things like that, man, I mean, top notch. So really, this is an awesome system. It just gets better every time they do a release. Really good stuff. All right, next up, I am using Technitium as my DNS server. Now, I did a video on this a while back. I talked about how to set up not only the main server here, but how to go in and set up your different zones for the different domains that you own and how to set up all of your records in there, but then also how to set up a secondary server that's kind of your fallback that just syncs with this one. So I make my changes in my main server. The secondary server syncs those changes over. I've got really detailed documentation, and actually I did something in the video that wasn't necessary, so I corrected it in the documentation because one of the guys from Technitium actually said, hey, you didn't exactly do that right. Here's where you went wrong. And he helped me figure out what I did. So in the documentation, I went back and corrected that. So if you ever want to set this up, definitely check out the docs. I've got show notes on any video where I'm showing you how to do an install where it takes a little bit of setup and configuration, and especially for servers. So definitely go check those docs out because it's really important if you want to understand how to do this correctly. I try to make my documentation very specific and very easy to follow. Sometimes my videos, I'm glazing over the things that I do in every single video just because for you guys, it would be super boring to see that every single time because it's the same thing. But in my docs, I try to spell out every single step, especially for somebody who's new or somebody who's only looking for this particular application and they haven't watched all my other videos. They're just trying to come and get this one done. I want to make sure they've got every step they need. Netbird, this is the VPN that I use. Now, Netbird is a VPN setup, I guess, configuration system. It's got some incredible power. It's going to relog in, so it re-authenticates every little bit, which is fine. It goes in and it does authentication, and I'll talk about the authentication in a little bit, but Netbird is just super incredible. So I set up my machines, I can set them up as a mesh, and they really do peer-to-peer connectivity, which is awesome. They have apps. So they have apps, client apps for Linux, for Windows, for Mac OS, for Android, for iOS, and believe me, the apps are incredible. They keep you connected. They're just awesome, and it lets you do all kinds of really great things. And as you can see, I get this IP address in the private IP range. It's a /16 range, which means these last two octets are completely open for me to put as many machines on this thing as I can. I self-host my server. Now, Netbird does have hosted services. If you're not wanting to set this up to self-host, you can go out and check out their hosted services. I think you can get 5 users and 100 devices at no cost. So you can get out there and try it, set up your users, see how it works, see how well you can do with things. You can do zero trust with Netbird. You can do all kinds of great things. And they've just added a new thing that I'm about to go to a webinar on tomorrow about their MSP capabilities they've just added. So I'm super excited to see that as well, because somebody who's wanting to build out an MSP, that is very, very interesting to me. And it's just such a great, great tool. And it gives you power over your users, who they can see, who they can affect. You can set up groups, which machines can talk to each other. I mean, it's just such an incredible system layered on top of WireGuard, which is a really, really fast, well encrypted system of communication between machines. Yeah, I love Netbird, and I can't say enough good things about it. The company is just growing by leaps and bounds, so I love to see that. And it's fully open source. A lot of people say, why don't you use Tailscale? The Tailscale server is not open source, and I've done a video on Headscale, which is an open source version of Tailscale in the past, but it did not have a very nice, it didn't have any UI. In fact, you had to use third-party UIs, which had some functionality, but not anything like what Netbird gives you. And Netbird is fully open source, both client, server, the web GUI, everything. So I really love that about it. It's been great using it. OpenWRT. So I use OpenWRT for my entire network, and this is my main router. This is the router coming in from my actual ISP's modem. This is the router that really handles all of the DHCP addressing and then anything else that I'm doing. This is where a lot of my firewall rules are set up, but I also use a bunch of VLANs through OpenWRT, and I've got videos that tell you how I set up those VLANs and how I did it through OpenWRT and how to do it for yourself. One of the things I'll say is, I don't just run the main router. I actually run 3 hotspots on top of that. So these are my 3 hotspots with OpenWRT. I can log into those and make changes anytime I need to. In fact, one of my hotspots, and a couple of them, I don't run every VLAN for Wi-Fi because I don't want certain machines connecting to those hotspots because they're all the way across my house. So back and forth, I just kind of have like my work VLAN here in my office, and then I have my media VLAN over on the other side of the house where the media stuff needs to be. And it really lets me have a lot of flexibility. It is not all in one pane of glass like you would have with Ubiquiti Unify or anything like that. There's a project called OpenWisp that's trying to do that, but it's just, every time I get it set up, I get going on it, I really like it, and then an update comes and it breaks. And it's just not something that I'm ready to dive into yet full time. But I really love the way that OpenWRT works. And honestly, with 4 little hotspots, it's nothing to jump into each one and make changes when I need to. It's really great, and I've really enjoyed using it quite a bit. OpenWRT, tremendous. You can run it on off-the-shelf hardware. I'm running this. This one's running on it's just an HP little desktop. Sorry, I'm trying to think of the word for it. No, this is running off a TP-Link. This is running off of a TP-Link. It's an ER605 version 2. It's been running great. I got this for the Omada stuff, and I just didn't like the way Omada worked, and it was giving me problems. Other people have had great success with Omada. It was probably something I had misconfigured, honestly, but I went back to OpenWRT, put it on here, it's been great. And then each one of these other little hotspots is actually an EAP 615. It's a wall mount type system, and I love it because they give me Wi-Fi. They give me 3 ports. 2 of them have PoE coming out of them, and they're charged. They're powered through PoE. So yeah, I mean, I love it. It's been great. Yeah, definitely awesome. Beszel. This is one that I did a video on not too long ago. I really, really like this system. I'm slowly building out the things that I'm looking for. I'm trying to watch their issues on GitHub. One of the things I've seen is people wanting to group these things, and it's looking like they've been taking some feedback and they're thinking about how to make that happen. So I'm excited about that. You can see here that this gives me a little red like, hey, this drive is almost full, so I don't have a lot of drive spaces out there on one of my VPSs. I can go out and just clear out some of my backups, and this is going to free up some drive space for me, which is awesome. Or I can go and say, hey, you know what, I need more space. Let me upgrade this VPS a little bit. It's kind of up to me, but I love that it just gives me this little red thing, and you can set up notifications, and you can set up all kinds of things. Really cool, and it gives you a lot of really great, just right here on the dashboard, very quick view, and I can click in and go, oh, hey, what's happening here? And I can look and see like what's going on with my CPU usage. You can get a lot of really detailed information as well. So yeah, I really like Beszel. It's an awesome project. If you haven't checked it out, you definitely should. It's been growing quite a bit as well. Now, this is for me to monitor all my systems that I use, but if you're going to be doing monitoring as an MSP or something like that, you may want something with a little bit more functionality. Beszel's pretty awesome, and I like it for like my own systems because it gives me a great fast overview and I can do the things I need to do. But you might want to use something that's got a little bit more capability if you're really going to be looking at, hey, I want to support other people's systems and do monitoring and things like that. You're probably going to want to switch to something with a little bit more power. Just putting that out there. Next is Minarca. So I've been using this as my backup solution. Now this is just my backup. I've actually got several other accounts that I use for backing up different things. But this runs a backup out to one of my main servers, and I did a video on this and how to get it set up and how to get it running, how to change out where you're storing things so you can have more storage space for your backups if you want to, just depending on what your setup is. So I went through a lot of stuff, and I went back and forth with the developer, and he is amazing. He does such great work with his backup solution. He has been so responsive to things. Definitely something worth getting out there and checking out. It is open source. You can run the server, the clients, everything like that. It's great. Really been enjoying it, and it does a great job every day. And I can see my different repositories, which is basically kind of like, this is just my different machines. I can back up more than one machine to a single repository if I wanted to, but I just create different repositories for each machine. And then let's say I need to re-authenticate because I've not been in it for a little while. But if I do that, let's see, yeah, it should be this one, I guess. Yeah, so there we go. I can get back in here. So I clicked into this repo. I can click in and see like what things do I have backed up from here. I can click in and just click into my backups, and I can see all kinds of things that I'm doing. So I really like this. It's a very easy system. Bringing things back is very easy as well. It has a really nice restore functionality. So if something goes wrong, reinstall your system, put the client on it, link back up to this repository and tell it you want to restore one of these things, and it does the restore for you, which is great. I really love that. LXConsole, this is how I control my home lab. Now I used to use Proxmox. I had some really big Dell servers that were power hungry things. I've been switching over 2024 and into 2025 to lower power hardware, little NAS systems, things like that. And I really control those things from here. So I've got each system set up, and I can jump into those systems just by clicking into the system here, and I can see how many containers I'm running. If I'm running any VMs, it'll be listed here. And then I can actually jump into the container space and see what they are, and I can get all their details for their different IP addresses, and I can start them and stop them and restart them and do all kinds of really great things through this web UI, which is really nice. I love LXConsole, and that's on top of Incus. So instead of LXC or LXD, this is the Incus container system that was split off of LXD about a year ago. It runs really well. There's some great videos out there. I've done a video on it, but definitely Scott over at Scottibyte has an incredible step-by-step video to get everything set up. If you haven't checked it out and you're interested, I highly recommend you go check out his channel, check out his documentation, because he's got this stuff down pat. He is the guy if you're wondering how to do these things for sure. But I use this. This is something for sure I use every single day, multiple times a day. This is one that I haven't done a video on yet, so this is one of those kind of one-offs that you would expect. But this is resumes. I lost my job, unfortunately, back in February. Just one of those things that happens in life, I guess. And I'm 50. I haven't looked for a job in 20 years, 15, 20 years. So I'm trying to get back into it, and being able to build out your resume is really important. So I found this really nice open source system to help me build my resume up and then get it printed out and get it put into a format that I could put over on LinkedIn and share with people. And I really like it. It's been great. And you can do more than one resume. I'm just working on the one resume. I don't need more than one right now, but really cool system. I really like it quite a bit. So I'll do a video on this in the future. I haven't gotten it ready yet, but it's one that I plan to cover. This is Immicch. This is a photos backup library that's really meant to replace Google Photos after Google Photos either went away or went paid, and people were kind of not happy about that because they had a bunch of their photos in there. So you can check this out. I can click on these things and see what's going on. It's kind of like a little slideshow. So here's my nieces learning to shoot archery, just having fun and doing the things that they love to do. Here's some flowers that my wife had. And then, yeah, it's just so much fun, and I really have enjoyed using Immicch quite a bit. So Immicch is just, I didn't mean to close that. Immicch is incredible. Really, really enjoyed Immicch, and it's just one of those great tools that you just want to have all the time because it's so good. This is Wazuh or Wazuh. I don't know how you're supposed to pronounce it, honestly, but it's a system that's meant for keeping your systems monitored and safe. And it's got so many plugins that it takes a while to get it configured and set up. I'm still going through configuration with it, but you can see I've got some machines that are showing that they've got a couple of high priority things. I can click on that to go see like what's going on and find out more about those things. And can I fix them? Is there something I can do to address these problems? Is it something where I just need to run updates? Is it something that I'm going to have to wait for somebody else to come up with these fixes? But it gives me an opportunity to say, hey, I realize this is here. Is there anything I can do to mitigate any kind of issues that might come up from this? So yeah, I mean, this is a really powerful system. If you've never looked at Wazuh or Wazuh, I've done a video on it as well. I've linked to some other videos who tell you here's other ways to set up plugins and watch for malware and get things removed automatically when something tries to replace system files. And it's really, really a powerful, awesome system. And there's some good videos out there about how to put it to work. So again, if you're an MSP and you're looking for a good SIEM type system, this is definitely one you should check out. If you haven't already, it's just absolutely amazing. And the updates kind of come on a regular basis as well. Uptime-Kuma, this is another one where I monitor my systems, and this is really monitoring my websites to see are they up, are they down, what's going on. And you can see right now I should have all green. I had a few reds the other night, just they were doing maintenance on some of the servers that I use, so these things went red for a little bit and then they go back to green. But it does let you know, it sends me a message through my Matrix chat, which I'll talk about in a minute, to let me know like, hey, something just went down, you might want to check it. And I can kind of go look and see like, is it really down, or did it just try to make the call and sometimes it can't reach it for some reason, so it tells me it's down. But most of the time you can see it. It calls and it says, hey, it's up and running. But it'll let you know if something isn't, which is really absolutely amazing to me. And I think it's just such a powerful piece of software. I've been really happy with it. I know there's some newer things out there. I've seen some people covering the newer things that are out there. Jim over at Jim's Garage, or James over at Jim's Garage, has some pretty good videos recently. I think DB over at DB Tech, he's got some as well for some different kind of systems that do these types of things. But definitely check those guys' channels out if you haven't already. Hopefully you already know about those guys. They do some incredible stuff. So Jim's Garage, and then DB Tech, if you haven't checked those out, and then Scott over at Scottabyte. So Scottabyte Enterprises, awesome channels with incredible self-hosted content and incredible information. This is one that I made, and I covered this last year. I haven't done a ton of work on it lately just because it's just been working for me and my family. I've found a couple of bugs recently, so I'll be opening this up and getting to work on it to put out some updates. But this is just a thing that I call Get My, which is just get my stuff done, get my list, filled, get my menu made, get my, whatever I need, get my tasks done, whatever. So I built this. It's fully open source. You can go get it. You can go run it. I tell you how to run it, everything like that in the video as well as the documentation. But I've got this thing where it's just lists, and you can make multiple lists. It doesn't have to be a grocery list, but we use a shared grocery list in my family. So when they add something, it pops up right here for me just automatically. If I add something, they can all see it. It does like try to separate if you have things assigned for different stores. You can actually separate it by what store am I going to. And if you're going to that store, then you get things on that list. But otherwise, it's just a list. And as you go through, you can click on things and mark them off, and just unmark them if you want to, unmark them, that kind of thing. But you can also mark it as I got it, or delete it if you put it on by accident, or put it on twice. Excuse me, or put it on twice, anything like that. And then you can see all of the things that you've gotten, like showing received. So this would be the things that are marked out red or checked already. And then you can hide it. You can filter your list down if you need to. But yeah, I mean, it's really easy. I can add things to the list. So I could just say USB drives and just hit enter, and ta-da, it adds it as one of my list items. It's very fast. It's a really simple way to keep track of your lists. But now that I've added USB drives, if I do this again, it now becomes an option for me to pick in the future, and I can see that that's going to be just something. It's easy. It makes it so that as I'm typing simple things, it does like, hey, you may already have that. So carrots, there you go. It tries to kind of give me some helper text, and it helps me with my family who does not like to spell things correctly. So hopefully as they're starting to type things out, they'll see the option and they just tap, so they don't have to type out the whole thing. But At any rate, this is called Get My, and it's something I made, so get out there, give it a try. If you have problems with it, let me know. I'll try to fix things. If there's background noise, I apologize for that. I don't know what they're doing outside, but we'll try to cut that out during post. So this is Invoice Ninja, and I do use this to invoice clients for different things and to send out invoices and make sure that those things are getting paid, and go and mark those things as paid if they need to be marked as paid. But definitely, this is just a really great system. I've got videos on it as well, so definitely get out there and check it out. It's a powerful, huge, massive, capable system that I use the invoices and sometimes the quotes for, the estimates for, things like that. I don't use it anywhere near what it could be used for, but as I build out my MSP business that I'm hoping to build, it's going to become more and more of a powerhouse product for me, I'm sure. So yeah, Invoice Ninja is amazing. All right, I had to go just give it a minute. They were doing something outside. Hopefully they won't start again, but we'll see. NGinX Proxy Manager. So this is a reverse proxy. And what a reverse proxy does is it lets you set up entries for different services by URL, and then you tell it, hey, this service is running on this machine on this port, and it basically helps get you to that service. So all of my services here, I mean, I've got tons, are listed out, and I've got them pointing to these different places on my network or on my VPSs, just depending on where it's at. And for the most part, I try to use my VPN to get to these things. Sometimes I use a actual URL. It just depends on the service, but as much as I can, I use a VPN to actually access these things so that whenever something's going on, I can get to them really easily. It's just such a great way to run things. So this leads to my Guacamole, for instance, and then I've got, of course, my Authentik. I've just got so many different things that I can do. I've got, I think this one I took down, so that one probably needs to be deleted. But yeah, you can see I've got all kinds of different really cool things that are going on with my reverse proxy. But NGinX Proxy Manager is just absolutely amazing. If you want to add something new, you click, you put in the URL, put in the IP address, put in the port. You can tell it to block common exploits. If it needs WebSockets, you can add that. You can jump to SSL, tell it, hey, I want a new SSL certificate, force it to go to SSL instead of using the non-SSL encrypted version, put in your email, agree, and hit save. And NGinX is going to go out there, and if you've got everything configured correctly to get to that service, it's going to give you an SSL certificate that's valid, and it's going to help you get to those services really easily. It's just such a great tool, and I've used it for years, and it's just one that I don't think I would switch away from. Home Assistant is absolutely amazing. I'm going to zoom this out just a little bit. I love this piece of software. Now, a lot of people want to use a dashboard. They want to have all kinds of cool stuff, and I do have a dashboard set, but honestly, I use the automations built into Home Assistant. I rarely actually have to get into the Home Assistant dashboard. I do have cameras here for my family because they didn't know how to access the cameras the other way. This camera is my front doorbell. It's just not, it has to be activated. But yeah, I mean, this is just a really amazing automation system. If you're somebody who likes the Apple version of Siri shortcuts or automations or using your voice, if you're somebody who likes using the Amazon version of things, using your voice, if you like the Google version of things using your voice, but you were looking for something that has more privacy built into it, something that's locally hosted, then this is absolutely something you should check out because it's amazing. It is not complicated to get set up and running. You can run it either on a Raspberry Pi, you can run it on a virtual machine, you can run it straight up on other hardware. There are dozens of ways to get this up and running, and they're all pretty straightforward. And I mean, just absolutely amazing software, incredible. Everything about it is just absolutely incredible. This is my home air conditioning system. As you can see, my family likes it very warm, but that's just how I leave it for them. You can see outside right now the current temperature, and then I can see different people's devices and what their charge level's at. And, it just really helps me know, hey, how are things going in the house when I want to look at this dashboard, or if I need to look at this dashboard. Now, this is for when we have outside decorations. I just have a couple of smart plugs, and I can click on these things to turn them on or off, anything like that. Again, mostly I use automations with times or sunset, sunrise, that kind of stuff, and let it do it all on its own. I don't have to do much with this thing, but it's got so much power. I have buttons for my mom. It used to be on my dad too. That they have by their bedside table, and if they need something in the middle of the night, they can push that button and it goes through Home Assistant. Home Assistant sends me a notification on my phone, and it has a special rule that allows that to come through when I have Do Not Disturb turned on. So if they need help, they can get to me and let me know that they need help. I have all kinds of really amazing things set up through Home Assistant that are just things that have made my life just so much easier and helped me sleep better at night knowing that they're there. This is one of those tools that I just can't tell you how important it is that if you haven't given it a shot, you should definitely get out there and learn about it, figure it out, understand it. Now, if you see a lot of old videos, they'll tell you you've got to get into a YAML file. You don't have to do any of that anymore. You can really do pretty much everything through the web UI. It is extremely straightforward to get things set up. It really does not have to have anything special done to it. And there are add-ons and plugins and all kinds of things you can add to Home Assistant to make it just, so absolutely incredibly useful. It's just hard to even describe how amazing it is. This video is sponsored by me. That's right. Did you know that I wrote a novel? I did. And it's a science fiction novel. It follows a guy named Dave, who's a pretty normal guy with a normal job, who happens to fall into a little bit of a less normal job, but doesn't realize it. He goes on some incredible adventures. He has some really cool things that he has to get done. It's just a passion project. I think you're going to love it. It's an action. It's an adventure. It's just so much fun. I understand if you don't want to do Patreon or PayPal, but maybe you'd like to get something out of some money that you're donating back to me. So by buying a book, you're paying me back, and at the same time, you're getting something out of it. You can jump over to Amazon. I'll have links in the description. You can jump over and get the ebook, the paperback, or the hardcover. I'll have links for as many countries as I can get links for, so no matter where you are, you can get a copy of the book. It is English only. It has not been translated. I just do want to put that out there, but I hope you'll get it. I hope you'll enjoy it, and let me know that you enjoyed it as well. Now let's get back to the program. This is Authentik. Now I use Authentik for all of my auth type things. So I use Authentik as my main identity provider, and that lets me log into Beszel with Authentik. I can log into my Bookstack system with Authentik. Now this is where I keep my show notes and things like that. I do have Dolabar here. I don't use it right now, but I've got it set up. I use this to get onto my Guacamole. So this protects my front end of my Guacamole system where I'm actually getting in to do remote desktop stuff. I've also got it set up for Moodle, which I just did a video on not too long ago, which is a great learning system. I've got it set up for my Netbird system so that I can get logged into Netbird and do different things, and I can set up accounts for people who may need to have access to Netbird for some reason, whether it's logging into the client or doing something on the server. And then I also use it for my Nextcloud system because, again, absolutely incredible to be able to use this to get into all these different things without having to have a different username and password, but let Authentik just deal with that for me. And it's great, and it's super amazing tool, and I just can't say enough good things about Authentik either. Absolutely terrific. If you're an MSP and you're thinking, hey, I'd love to use something like that for my clients so that they can have single sign-on for as many applications as possible, but something that you have control over, this is definitely one I would recommend, and I would say get out there and check out their paid offerings. So with the community offering, you can set up your tenant. You don't get multi-tenant, but with their offering where you do paid services, you can actually have a multi-tenant setup and set up your clients as different tenants for different things. Really, absolutely incredible. I love this one as well. When we talk about identity management, I also use FreeIPA. FreeIPA lets me set up identities and then have my users log into those Linux systems, those clients that I talked about that I've got set up on Linux machines. Lets them log into those Linux machines as a client using a single sign-on identity, and this actually syncs back to my Authentik, which lets me set them up in things like Nextcloud and other tools that they might need access to, Netbird for instance, using that identity that I've set up here in FreeIPA, which is that's an incredibly awesome power user type thing that lets me really help them do something in a much easier way, and it gives me a lot of really easy control to help make sure that they're set up in the way they need to be. So I haven't ever done a video on how to make these two talk, but it's not super difficult, and there's great directions out there, but I may do a video on it. If you guys are interested, let me know. I'd be happy to do that. So Guacamole, I've talked about a few times. This is how I do remote desktop whenever I need to get onto client systems, things like that. I can just jump on a remote desktop session, and I've actually got multiple different kind of things set up. I've got these groups set up where I can get on as an admin user, or I can jump on as a regular user depending on what I'm trying to do. I've also got my own systems here at home set up for a few different things where I can do remote desktop or terminal through the system. And this is very handy when I'm away from home and I want to connect back to things. Now I could do it straight through the VPN, but sometimes I don't remember the IP address of the machine I'm trying to get to, so this makes it just really easy for me to jump on and just do something really quickly. And it's all through the web browser, everything handled through here, so it's really great. And it does VNC, remote desktop protocol, SSH protocol. I mean, just a lot of different ways that you can set things up to be able to get connected through Guacamole. And again, it's protected through my Authentik single sign-on system, which I really, really like. And I do have a video on setting up Guacamole with SSO through Authentik. Nextcloud is another one that is just, it blows me away, the amount of control and power that you have through Nextcloud. Now, a lot of people think, I just wanted a Dropbox replacement, where Dropbox is just a syncing solution. And that's kind of where OwnCloud started, and then Nextcloud split off from it. But Nextcloud has grown into more of a Microsoft 365 offering that is self-hosted, where you control your own data, but it also does peer-to-peer connectivity, I guess is the best way to put it. It's kind of like your Matrix system or your Mastodon, things like that, where it's federated. So Nextcloud can be federated to other systems. You don't have to federate to every system. You can federate only to the ones that you want to, but it builds out this mesh network of systems and servers, but it's a server that you control, a server that you have your data privacy, and they are huge into data privacy. They are huge into controlling your own data, and I love that. And I haven't done a Nextcloud video other than how to install Nextcloud AIO in a long time and how to update it. But I mean, the tools you see here across the top are just the things I'm using. They have more than this, and you can add more than this, but this is just the stuff that I have set up. So when you talk about Microsoft 365, okay, well, I want files. It's here. And I actually went in because we have a Roborock vacuum and mopper combination thing, and it broke after a couple of months. And I contacted the Roborock folks, and they said, hey, could you just send us a video of what's going on so our engineers can see if it's something that can be fixed? I sent a video, and I shared the video link from here to them, and they were able to access that. And once they were done, I was able to remove that link, and it just made it so easy. It's just like doing something where you're doing it through SharePoint, you're sharing a link, or through anything else you're doing through Microsoft 365. Just a really awesome tool. Here, you can see the activity of what's going on for different things. So if you've got different files being shared, this is also how my editor and I share my videos and share the updates and the edits that she makes and the reviews that I do and the comments that I make. So it's a tool for us to just be productive and get things done for these videos I'm making. This is just photos in general. So this does not have all of my photos, but it does have a photos app. I use Immicch for my photos just because I kind of prefer Immicch for the photos, but it is something that's there. Nextcloud Talk I haven't started using as much, but I want to use more just because it is a really, really cool tool, and it's got a lot of capabilities around it. So you can see what they have. They send you updates about what's going on with Talk, and you can kind of see all their different updates that they've put out, which I really like. And then if you want to have some kind of, just this is me, notes to self. I can just make notes to myself, and I'm the only one in this group, and then I'm the only one that sees it. I actually do this through my Matrix channel right now. This is a video editing chat that I'm going to start using with my editor as well, so that we can both get on and have conversations about different things that we're doing and what do we need to get done. And then this is just some testing that I did with my wife to see how Nextcloud was working. Originally, the Nextcloud phone app, the iOS app, not produced by Nextcloud, I think it's by a third party, didn't have very big font. It was very tiny, and you couldn't change it. It didn't follow the system font settings or anything. So I reported that, and a few other people reported it as well, and it got fixed. So I love that because now I can use the phone app as well for this. But it's very Teams-like, Matrix-like, Slack-like. So highly recommend you check this out if you haven't. It's got some really, really great functionality. You do need to have some turn and servers and things like that, but you can do video calls and audio calls and all kinds of cool things through Nextcloud. And if you're, again, supporting a business or a business person trying to run things in a more open source way and in a way that makes it better for you, can't recommend enough that you check out Nextcloud and really see what it can do. It's got some great, great features. I also have an email application set up. I'm not using the Nextcloud mail app. I tried it. I just didn't like it, but this one's called Snappy Mail. It's one that you add on, but then you do need to log in separately from Nextcloud. But I kind of like that it's got that protection around it, so if I leave Nextcloud up, people can't just come in and mess with my email. But I really like it. It's got a very Gmail-like feel to it. It's very good. I've been very happy with it. Of course, I got contacts here, and I can set up different contacts for different things. You've got calendars, so I use this calendar all the time. I've got multiple calendars set up over here. So I've got my family calendar where I keep a lot of different information for what's going on in my family so that everybody knows when I'm doing something or if they have appointments or if we have appointments for my mom, things like that. I've also got my video recording schedule, which right now is not up to date, but I do try to keep that up to date so my editor kind of knows, hey, what's coming. just all kinds of things that you can do with this calendar, and you can sync different calendars to different devices, and setting up the syncing is really easy because it uses CalDAV. Very straightforward to get it set up, so I do use that all the time. I did try to set up the phone tracking stuff. I don't use it much yet, but awesome. Notes, I 1000% use Notes, but I do it through different Notes apps. The actual Markdown in here is really good. I probably should just use Nextcloud more often online for Notes, but yeah, the Markdown in Notes is just absolutely amazing. It's really a good system for doing some Markdown and making things ready for my show notes, essentially, which is what I take all my notes here, I try to go through and refine them as I'm doing things and putting things together, and then I try to go back and give you guys those steps in my show notes, just very cleaned up and ready for you to be able to read and take on. But Notes is awesome, really powerful just for syncing your notes. If you want to use something else to take your notes in, that's up to you. I don't use this one yet. This is a place to put announcements on your site, but it's pretty cool. I like that they have that there for you. I do use Deck. Now I use it for my recording stuff, so you can see like here's the things that I want to record, here's the things that I've got recorded that I'm working on, here's the things that my editor's working on, and I need to go through and update these things. But it's just a nice Kanban, and I can move things around as they get done. So for instance, Jitsi Meet and FreeIPA is coming up soon. FreeIPA install and setup is coming up soon. Moodle we just did, so I need to move that to the end there. PrestaShop I haven't put out there yet. I don't remember. Maybe I did put PrestaShop out there. Anyways, these are awesome tools. I mean, all just built into Nextcloud. It's just one place that I go and I can do a lot of different things. And by the way, you can open these things up in separate tabs too. You can just right click and open a new tab, or middle click, however you do it. But yeah, I mean, it's great. Forms I haven't used yet. I'm kind of excited to see what it can do. Tasks I don't really use that much, but it's there. And then they do have tables, so you can build out tables for collecting data, things like that. And then they do have a menu system, but I don't use that one. So Nextcloud is just, again, even for my simple purposes, it's a great, amazing, powerful tool. It keeps everything private. I'm not dependent on Microsoft or Google or whoever to have my data and keep it safe and not be spying on me through it. I really like Nextcloud. It's just such an awesome tool. Metabase, this is another one. So this is where I track all my wife's sales for her business. And we use this at the end of the year for our tax purposes to make sure that everything's lining up and make sure that things make sense. I've got multiple dashboards that we can look at, and you can go through and filter these dashboards and say, hey, I only care about April and December, and I can go through here and clear out the year, and I can put in, this is showing me what I have for April and December. Let's see if I go back April and December. Let's just say I want that. And then if I go through here and I pick just for 2021, there we go, April and December 2021, and I can see all the details that I want, all the information that I need for that, and it filters things down, and getting this set up is not difficult. They have great documentation. I've done a video on it in the past. Getting it set up and running using the right databases is pretty straightforward, and you can add tons of data sources and build out different dashboards for all kinds of things. I really love Metabase. I think it's such an awesome tool. And it's a growing company. If you're a BI person, if you're a business intelligence person, if you're a data analyst, if you're a data scientist, and you're looking for a tool that gives the simplest way to do things for the average person who doesn't understand data analytics, but they just want to see how much did I do in sales over these months, it's very straightforward to do that because it's very just click and drag and tell it what you want. But you also have the power tools of I can write SQL queries and I can write all kinds of things out to get scripts and things running to make my data come out. So I really love this tool. I think it's amazing. If you haven't checked it out, definitely do that as well. All right, that's the end of the web-based kind of services that I'm running right now for the most part. I do have a lot of other things though. I run a lot of applications as well. So FluffyChat is an open source front end for Matrix, and I use this for actually both of my Matrix channels. So I have a matrix for my personal use, and then I have a matrix for you guys for my website. And you can see here I've got some things that help me please where people are posting. And I go in here and I try to look every couple of days and make sure I'm trying to keep track of things and answer questions that people have. But I have a lot of different channels and I have a lot of different users that are on here. If you haven't gone out and joined it, you should go out there and do that. If you're already a matrix.org user, you can just add the discuss.opensourceisawesome.com matrix server, and then you can jump into these channels and things, and I've shown in a video how to do that. But also, if you want to join my server, I've got a video and I've got show notes out there on how to do that as well, so I have that in the show notes for this video and the description for this video so you can get to it. I use Evolution Email here on Linux. People always ask me, well, okay, Nextcloud doesn't really have an email client. Well, it does have the one that I showed you, SnappyMail, but if you don't want to be in a webmail client, you just want to use email. I use email through Purely Mail, and I just have my email set up here for both my personal use and my content use for YouTube. And Evolution is a great email client. I've used Thunderbird in the past. I love Thunderbird. I think it's great. I just thought I'd try Evolution this time around. So yeah, they're both really, really terrific for email. I just released a video on FreeCAD. I use FreeCAD on a pretty regular basis. Since I released that video, I've done a bunch more stuff that I've been trying to make. So this one is probably one of my favorites. This is just like so simple. It's kind of sad, but honestly, I have this thing that I use to roll up my water hose outside. And it folds down. It's a cart that you can pull that has wheels on it, but the folding part is at the top. And if you try to tip it where you can pull it with the wheels, it folds in that direction. So unfortunately, it falls inward and folds. And it needed a little pin. So I just designed this little pin. I went and measured some things. I designed out this pin. I put a hole through it so that when I stick the pin in, I can put in a cotter pin or something like that to keep it in place. And I went and put the pin in. It fit the first time I did it. I was super excited. I printed one for the other side, and it took about 5 minutes to make this little print because it's very small in real life. And yeah, now I can roll my water hose carrier around the yard where I need to, which is amazing. So I've had that water hose carrier for like 6 or 7 years, and this is the first time I've actually been able to roll it around in about that amount of time because for whatever reason, the piece that came on it just broke almost right away. So yeah, super excited because I 3D printed that and it was just really easy. But yes, I use FreeCAD for making my 3D print designs, and I continue to learn how to do more and more with it, and it's another one of those incredible, powerful open source projects. If you haven't gotten into 3D printing and you're thinking about it, highly recommend you go get FreeCAD. Check out the links in this description to get to my video, and then I'm going to have links in that description to a whole series of how to use FreeCAD that is absolutely awesome. It really, really gets you on the right track for building out the things you want to do. LibreOffice. I have talked about LibreOffice constantly, and I have a video that still gets comments all the time because I said that LibreOffice is better than Microsoft Office, and I stand by what I said. No matter how much you guys try to tell me why LibreOffice isn't as good, most of the time the thing that I hear is either I'm a super extreme financial professional and I have to have all these crazy weird VB scripts that I wrote for Excel and it doesn't work in LibreOffice, which is my answer to you is duh. Okay, I don't know how else to put it. I have said in the video, if you are just the average person, the 99.5% of the human population who just needs a word processor and a spreadsheet now and then and maybe a simple presentation, LibreOffice is going to work for you. If you are a weird, staunch professional, not weird, I shouldn't say weird. If you're just a staunch professional who has used Excel to the most full extent possible on the planet, which is a lot of you guys who apparently found my video, yeah, it's probably not going to work out for you. If you're wanting to move from Microsoft Office to LibreOffice and expect it to work exactly the same or look exactly the same or every button to be in exactly the same place, you just need to adjust your expectations because the reason it's different is on purpose. It's different because they want it to be different. If I wanted Microsoft Office, that's what I would buy. I want LibreOffice, and I love how LibreOffice works. I wrote an entire novel in LibreOffice. I published that novel using the tools in LibreOffice, and it was extremely straightforward, extremely easy once you understand how to do things. It's just one of those things where you need to understand you're going to have to learn to do it in a different way. Doesn't mean it's worse. It might be better. It's just different, and that's the hard thing that people can't get over a lot of times, and I get that totally. But LibreOffice is amazing. It has a word processor. It has a spreadsheet. It has a presentation software. It has drawing software, which, by the way, you can use to literally edit PDF files. People are always going, I want a way to edit PDFs. That's the way to do it. Use LibreOffice Draw. It is amazing. It has a database system, which people always say, oh, the LibreOffice base isn't as good as Access. It's not that. It's better than Access, actually. You can build out LibreOffice base to connect to all kinds of database backends and then use it for building your front end. The thing is, it's different. It's not what you're used to. I understand that, and that's okay. If you're used to the Microsoft Office stuff and you don't want to change, you don't have to. I'm just trying to let you know there's a really incredible option out there that is very powerful. People say, well, I tried to open this super gigantic file in it and it was slow. Well, okay, it's slow. go report that to the guys at the LibreOffice project and let them know, and even share the file with them if you can, so that they can say, okay, we're going to try to improve this, because you don't get improvement in projects unless you report the problems you're having. So definitely go do that. Enough preaching. LibreOffice is amazing. If you haven't tried it out, you should go try it out. Honestly, it's better than Microsoft Office. Better than Microsoft Office. I stand by that. I know a lot of you are going to comment, but I stand by that. It's okay. All right, now for one of my favorites. This is Veloren. I covered this one a couple of years ago. My family and I still play this game. This is an online game. It's built, I don't know what it's built on. It's built on something amazing, but I run my own server. There are thousands of servers out there that you can join, but my server is private. Only my family can get to it, and only my family who can come into the VPN can get to it. But we play with my local family, with my nieces that are remote, and we just get on and have a fun time, and it is such an awesome little game, and it just keeps getting better and better with every release they do. And they do regular releases, like nightlies, weekly, big updates, I mean, all kinds of stuff. And all you have to have is this little installer, and you click on download, and it's going to grab the latest version for me and get it installed. And once it's ready, I just hit launch, I log in, and man, it's great. And you have one account, so no matter what server you're logging into, you use that same account, and it goes and authenticates against the Veloren server real quick, and it says, hey, you're good. And you get in, you start playing your game, and it remembers where you were in a server you were on. I mean, just really, I love it. It's so much fun. We have such a blast just playing this thing. It's absolutely crazy how much fun it is. I will launch it real quick just so you can see what the launch screen looks like, and I will jump into it. So I'm going to put in my password here, and yes, there's some witches that would not be happy to see you in their space, but there's so many cool things. This is my little character. I just hit that, and it's raining. There's weather, all kinds of crazy stuff, but I can run through here. I can just have such a fun time. I can climb up this mountain here through the clouds and the nastiness. And I'm running on a machine that doesn't have the greatest graphics card. I mean, it's got a little bit of graphics capability. It's got a Ryzen in it. But yeah, I can just climb my mountain here, and you can see the leaves falling and the water on the ground, and I can go pick this thing. And now I've got something I can go sell when I want to. And it's great. Yeah, so I can climb here. And once I get up here, one of my favorite things to do is to just run and jump and open up my glider, and I start flying. And I mean, it is just so much fun. Now I'm falling. Oh, I can correct. There we go. And you can just fly and kind of go any direction you want. And you can see yourself up on the map in the upper right corner to kind of see where you're headed. It's kind of hard when you're in the middle of a storm like this. I keep getting blown away by the wind here. And the wind will literally blow you sideways now, which is another thing that they added since I did the original video. But it's so much fun. We get up here and we follow each other as we're flying to try to get to some other part of the world that we're in. And by the way, I seed my own worlds, so my worlds are very laid out different from the other servers that are out there. And another really fun thing about this thing is that you can do all kinds of really cool stuff to kind of modify and make it your own. But yeah, you can see that I'm falling again. And so I'm zooming down here. And tree. Okay, hit a tree. So this is just fun. And once you're done, you can just put away your kite and you're ready. So love this thing. It's such a fun game. I'm going to get out of it, and I'm going to make you not have to watch me play anymore. But yeah, so fun. If you have friends who like to play LAN games, if you have family who you want to play fun, just interesting games with, and you're worried about the servers that they're getting on with people you don't know, just like I do, this might be the answer for you. If you haven't checked it out, I've got a video on it. Still valid, still the same setup. It's just absolutely so much fun, so much fun. All right, I use GIMP. I am not an artist or a graphic artist by any stretch of the imagination. I make my own thumbnails, and you can probably tell that by looking at them. They're all very much formulaic because it's the only way that I know how to do things, but I do use it, and I use it pretty constantly because I put up videos pretty regularly. RustDesk. This is another one that I use for remote access. So when my client calls me and says, hey, we're having a problem, or hey, something happened, or hey, my system locked up, the first thing I tell them is, okay, go open RustDesk, and they'll go open RustDesk, and they'll give me their key or their IP address or whatever I need, and I will connect, and it prompts them on their screen like, hey, Brian's trying to connect. Do you want to let him in? And they can say, yes, allow him in, and then I can control their screen just like you would with any other tool, AnyDesk or TeamViewer or anything like that. The difference being, this is open source. I control the server. I have set up my own server. I set up their clients to connect to my server, and they get this little ready in the bottom as well. And then I can connect to them securely through my server. It is all encrypted, and I love that. it just makes it such a more secure thing for me to support my clients with. Now, if Joe Blow out of the blue just called me and said, hey, I need to get fixed, I wouldn't be able to tell him, go grab RustDesk and just start it up. He would have to go in and do some configuration. It's not as straightforward as I would like it to be. I'd love to be able to send out the client with my configuration so they're connected to my server, but you know what? It's amazing. I support this one every month. It's one of those ones that I support because I love it. I don't have the pro version. I just support them because I want to see this continue and I want to see it keep going. So yeah, RustDesk is awesome. If you haven't checked it out, you should. And by the way, you can set it up so that you could access your own machines from away or access your own machines from in your network. If you have a machine you just want to access now and then, you can set it up so that you can do unattended access as long as you set a preset password that you want to use. I really like that about it. I did a video on this one not too long ago called Ghostwriter. This is just a markdown thing. This is actually what I use to get in and make my notes for the different show notes that I'm going to give you guys. This is just pulling out of my files from Nextcloud for my notes, and I just go in and make my notes, and then you guys can actually go through and see what all I'm doing, and I can put these things in my show notes so that you can follow along and see how this works. So you can see here I'm working on one for OS Commerce. That's one that will be coming out soon as well. Yeah, just one of those things that I use all the time. I use this multiple times a week to update notes and update things and make changes and keep track of stuff. I also use VSCodium. So when I'm writing the Get My app, I use VSCodium. This is not VS Code. VS Code is the Microsoft version of Codium. Codium is the open source text editor, IDE, if that's what you want to call it. VS Code is where they took Codium and they said, hey, that's great. We're going to start with that. And now we're going to build a bunch of stuff on top of it that's not as open. If you can imagine that, Microsoft wanted to put things that's not open on top of something that's open source, but they do. And it's okay. If you like VS Code, it's cool. Don't sweat it. But I like VSCodium. I just like it a little bit better. It has access to almost every plugin that's available on VS Code, so I can still install the plugins for different types of things. In this case, I'm working on learning how to do data analytics with Python. And I'm using a bunch of different libraries. And I'm using a thing called Jupyter Notebooks, and there's a plugin for that that works with this. I also run a Jupyter Notebooks server on the web, and it is really, I like it. I think it's pretty awesome, and the tutorial I've been going through has been great, so I'm still kind of working through that tutorial. But yeah, I mean, this is just another skill that I'm trying to learn. I mean, I'm not employed right now. I've got time on my hands while I'm trying to find another job, so I'm trying to learn some skills while I'm at it. And VSCodium is just a really good IDE. I've really enjoyed using it. If you haven't checked it out, you should. Again, if you want the open source version of VS Code, essentially, VSCodium is it. I highly recommend you go check it out. It's got all the same functionality from what I've seen as VS Code, minus a little bit of the Microsoft specific stuff, which I don't do any Microsoft development anyways, so it doesn't bother me. OBS, I am literally using OBS right now to record the screen, so there you go, diving into the matrix, but I use this all the time. It's a really, really great screen recorder. It does some incredible stuff, and I love it. It's a really cool tool. That is what I am still using in 2025 as far as open source software. I think I've just found some of the greatest applications over the years, and I'm sticking with the ones that are really working for me. I'm sticking with everything that I've just been showing you guys, that I've been putting out there for you. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you got a lot out of it. If you did, make sure to like, subscribe, tell your friends about it so they can come along on the open source journey with us, and I'll talk to you next time.